And Kirsty is in often before I'm in. Good morning, Kirsty, from your lifestyle location.
Hello, how are you?
See, and this is my actual lifestyle location to see why I'm such a disappointment in our family, Kirsty.
No, never a disappointment.
Oh, unbelievable. And wonderful Maeve's in, Megan's back. The legend that is Damien. Damien, how famous are you becoming on the internet?
Oh, I don't know about that.
People like following you. So I tell you, you're going to get high citations on this work, Damien. So you keep talking about it. It's fantastic. Lorraine has to put up with me for another hour. It's great to see you, Lorraine, with the calming green and the light of our lives. Susan is with us. Good evening, Susan, from New York City. Thrilled to see you.
Good evening to you too, Tara, and good evening to everybody.
Oh, we're thrilled. And beautiful Ruth, who I saw in real life in the corridor last Friday.
Morning.
Thanks for that, Ruth. Ruth, you're an absolute triumph. Beautiful Kylie's back with us. Queen Mary is back with us. The light of our lives, Dina, is in. Dina, good morning, my love. How are you? All sound.
Good, thank you.
Looking beautiful and amazing. I wish I could get my clothes to go with my environment. Look how beautifully that shawl top goes with the building. It's unbelievable, Dina, you superstar. Magnificent. And Thaisha is back. We're thrilled. And you've heard me mention the Piper. Piper Bell, good morning for your first Right Club. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Fantastic. Piper is aiming to complete the fastest PhD in the history of CDU, and I believe she may just get there. How's your marking been going, Piper?
It's not pretty. It's painful. It's excruciating. I just want it to be over.
Well, for the next half an hour, we will keep you company and let's write your magnificent thesis. So, colleagues, we've got 29 minutes of magnificence. Are you ready to join us? Let's do it. Ruth, knock yourself out. Come on, Kyles. Bring it home, girlfriend. 29 minutes. Let's do it. Yay. Go on, your Piper. last minute, colleagues. And we are concluded. Oh, wow. That was intense. Wow. Let's all shake ourselves out of it. Kirsty, we'll start with you. How did you go? Wow.
I'm going really well. So I've actually spent the last week at Byron Bay, and I actually took off 4 days. So I was very excited, and I was able to relax. So that was even more exciting. But today's about admin. So today I send out, I'm the student experience mentor for our HDR students in our school. So I send out a weekly email. So I got that out of the way. And I'm also working on, because I'm their rep as well. So I'm working on the report for the subcommittee next week. So it was just ticking off those admin boxes and things like that for me today.
Well done, you. Well,
Yeah.
look, as a dean, I know I often forget I'm dean than anybody else. Can I say the roles that you are doing, they're so important to the building of a high degree community. So never underestimate how valuable what you're doing is. It changes how we think about high degrees. So you're amazing, Kirsty.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
You. And I hope Byron Bay was magnificent. Speaking of our other favourite redhead who has also returned from some fabulous activities involving gardening. Kyles, what were you writing on now that you've had this incredible success sending stuff out into the universe this week?
The first part of the half hour was based around, I have found a data set that I can potentially get access to from the Australian Local Government Association, but it will cost me. So I was just trying to work out, how do I put in a form to get access to the money that's part of the uni that is allocated to me? No idea, so I'm going to give them a call after this. And then the second part was the two main reports that I'm bouncing, which is where the data sets originated from. I'm just seeing what data I can pull from that in the meantime to start playing around with. So yeah, so that was fun.
Why do you have to buy those public data sets?
Well, it's an interesting story. When I emailed them, the Australian Local Government Association said, yeah, we'll waive the $1,000 that we normally ask for us to package it all up. I know, but the state local government associations will still charge you $1,000. So I'm about to email them and actually say, any chance I can get it for free? But yeah, so one's going to waive it, one isn't so far. So I'm hoping they might, but I thought in the meantime, I'll just find out how do I do it if I have to. So
Public
yeah, I know.
information.
It's crazy. I pay my local government rates, which would go to the local government association, which would go to the that I want to access as a researcher. So it's only, I think it's $1,000. So
and do they not want people to write about important local, regional, rural developments? I mean, come on.
Not when the the state group, the IPW people, would be getting paid to do this research. So I think that's probably why they will charge me, because they probably see me in cahoots. But if
Oh.
I can get enough out of their reports and get enough to start with, maybe I don't need their original data.
It's a lovely example of why local governments and regional governments should partner with universities and have higher degree students do that work and make that publicly
Mm.
available. Just putting that out there,
Yeah,
no pressure.
very true. But yeah, all good.
Oh, you're amazing, Coles. We missed you, darling one. And the queen that is Ruth, you superstar. Now, were we doing something different this week? What were we doing, Ruth?
Yes, we were doing something different. So this week I have been working on like a skeleton for my PhD thesis, so that when I come to Write Club, if I haven't thought about what I want to do, I can look at some different, parts of it and start filling it in, like the introduction and those kinds of bits. So that's what I've been doing, is looking at a couple of other PhDs and seeing how they're structured and thinking about what I want to include in mine. So that's what I was doing.
Ruth, that will save a year of your life. What you have just done today, and she's laughing. Ruth, that will get your thesis home, doll. That is brilliant. Well done, you.
Thanks.
Thanks. You're the best, Ruth. You enthusiastic, gorgeous creature. Can I say, Ruth on screen is this very sort of very calm, rational human being. In person, she is very enthusiastic and energetic. So Ruth is a very complicated woman. Good on you, Ruth. You're very precious to us. Very precious, my darling one. Should we go to Queen Piper? So Piper, what were you writing on? Oh my goodness. And look, do you want to just tell people what the thesis is on, just so we've got context around what you're about to do? Go for it, doll.
So it's about working class women's labour in the academy this century.
Look at Kirsty's face. Yeah. Right. So what were you writing on during this period, madam?
Well, what I'm sort of working on at the moment is, as you know, I'm sort of jumping between several documents. So I'm doing a literature review and I'm also doing the proposal document so that I can go through to confirmation and get my ethics in. And so I'm kind of writing up the justification for the methodology that also sort of keeps seeping into the literature review. So I was trying to work on a little paragraph then. I found that session quite intense, Tara. I found that quite a lot of pressure to try to get something done, but I've just got like a bit of a justification for using Marxist feminism.
As if one needs a justification for using Marxist feminism, Piper. Oh, and darling, it is very intense, Write Club. I mean, as you see, sort of Kirsty and I have to shake ourselves out of it. So we get in there and then it's suddenly over and we have to shake ourselves out. It's good, isn't it?
Yeah, I think I like it. I think the intensity is probably going to end up being my friend, but yeah, it was quite an interesting first go.
You did very well, my darling. Very proud of you. And just colleagues, so you know, Piper's trying to aim to do her confirmation of candidature 3 months into her candidature, 3 months, so that she can get the ethics through. We are doing a fast doctorate. You go, Piper. You go, girl.
Well, now there's going to be some public shame if I now everyone knows that that's my aim. I'm going to have to try to do it.
I don't do the Game of Thrones shame. No, sweetest, you're unbelievable. You're frightening, Piper. So you can do it because you are doing it. You're amazing.
Well, I've got the best, so thank you.
I've got the best. No, I've got the best. Thank you, Piper, for everything. And speaking of the best, it's Carol time. Carol, you're the light of our lives now. And my God, your painting goes with your frock. Did you do that intense? Look at that. That's magnificent.
Look, and then there's also a little bit of still artwork there in the background. I don't know if you can see. So it's one of my rescued greys. We've got 2.
I've always wanted one of those, but I can't have a dog because I'm unstable and I can't manage a fridge. But besides that, Carol, you are very precious to us. Your feedback is remarkable. What were you writing on this week, my queen?
So I was doing something really different. I went out to visit the organisation that I'm working with, the actual service arm of the organisation, and I've been writing my reflections on that. and I didn't think I remembered much because I haven't got ethics clearance, so I didn't do any, you know, sort of questions or whatever. And just lots of impressions, lots of reflection on what I thought the place looked like, and you know, just lots of adjectives really around describing this without going into detail in the conversations, but describing the location, the place, the feel, and building the relationships and what that feels like with the service as well, with the manager out there. It was really exciting.
Well, Carol, I saw you before you headed out. Was it last week, last Thursday, last Wednesday, last Friday?
This time last week.
And you were just, your face was just shining with the joy of it. And that's what the best thesis and the best research does. Is it still worth it for you? Because we've been having a lot of those conversations the last few weeks. Is it worth it?
Oh, absolutely. The actual other part, some of the process stuff is just, you know, it just is what it is. But the work and the research, and when I got there, and the descriptions from this really delightful woman who is the manager there, and how valuable she and her team, Aboriginal team, are all wanting to join in with asking what they can do to help. So I know that it's the right area, and I know it's got support. So that just makes me go goosebumps. And it also makes me feel that I'm not undertaking this lightly. It's a lot of thought and deep reflection into why it's being done.
Right woman, right time.
Thank you.
You are magic, Carol. And speaking of magic, Queen Mary, do you want to say hi? I'm so excited by your thesis, but you know that. What were you working on, Queen Mary?
I am writing up the main body of my thesis, and I'm following your advice. It needs to be 2 chapters, but you said that you encourage students just to write until you've written it.
Yep.
So that's what I'm spending October on. I'm just going to write, and I don't know how long it's going to be. Everything I've been researching, collecting, I'm just going to start writing up about this Wonnerup massacre and the violence leading up to it.
So powerful, mate. And I think it's important. Why I get students to just keep writing, to write themselves to exhaustion, just write, is because I need you to stretch. You don't know how big this thing gets. So you need to stretch. It's like yoga for the brain. And then when you've exhausted yourself, you can see how the content can be shaped and cut up into bits and pieces. Oh, Mary, fantastic. And Mary, is the prose coming easily? Is the language coming easily for you?
Yeah, that is coming easily, and I certainly write a lot better than I used to. I'm just looking back at my honours stuff now and going, oh my God, what was I thinking? But yes, it is coming easily, but I do have to stop and reference things and then get the references right. And so it's a slow process as well. Plus, I'm also discovering new things. I think, oh, I haven't looked at that, or I'm kind of checking my research as well. So I'm finding gaps in it, and it's fairly slow going, but I just want to get it as thoroughly done as possible.
It's worth everything. When one has the privilege as a human to do Indigenous research, I mean, all research requires rigor, but the clarity and the precision and the transparency is integral for the colleagues that follow us with that research. So, Mary, you are an absolute triumph. Absolutely.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
You're the best in the universe. Shall we go to fantastic late night New York? Susan, how are you, Susan? Tell us. I mean, every week I get excited. What are we writing on? Are we writing that piece for the stakeholders? Where are we on this, Susan?
Well, what I did tonight was I wrote a query letter for the journal that I want to have it published in. So that's what I wrote. I actually wrote 2 letters because, you know, I like doing things more than once. I decided, you know, I'm one of those people who does not like to send her writing out. I wasn't always that way.
Yeah.
But, you know, some years ago, a couple of decades ago, someone actually stole my writing. They stole my master's
Oh no.
We call it thesis here. They stole my master's thesis and they rewrote it. Or no, he gave it to his wife and she rewrote it as a book that was published right around the time of 9/11. So ever since then, I've been, reluctant to send anything out. So a lot of my writing has been accumulating because it didn't stop me from writing. It stopped me from sending it out.
Wow.
So now I am working on ways to just send it out.
Yeah. Now, I wonder, Susan, in the last 23, 24 years, I wonder if, the text matching software, the tightening up of law, and I wonder if digitization has actually helped block people ripping humans off like you were ripped off. But I agree with that. How you've recovered, I don't know, Susan.
I don't know either, but, I'm here.
You're here and we absolutely love you. And I think the courage that you're showing, because the words and the work that you're doing is so important. So I now understand why those letters were so important to you, to get the tone right, to make sure you're dealing with authentic people with integrity who will respect your words.
Thank you.
Oh, Susan, wow. Oh, that's freaked me out for the day. Unbelievable. Should we go to the legendary Susan, to our Sue Charlton? Hello, Sue. Welcome to Mount Gambier. Queen Sue. Oh, I'm excited. Let's see if I can help you, Sue. What were you working on, Sue?
So I was working on my taking my thesis chapter on health literacy and putting it on another document, and then seeing how I can adjust that and turn it into chapters for a book. So that's what I've been working on for the last few weeks. But today I was really working on that final, transferring that to another document and breaking it into chapters, etc.
Oh, Sue, look, that's brilliant. And that's how you do it. You've captured the process magnificently. So when you're making a small book, you take the big chapter, which your health literacy chapter was, and each heading in the chapter becomes a new chapter. And then you put an intro and an outro on the back of it, and then just gently build up the layers of those sections to make them into chapters. So how do you feel it's going, Sue?
Well, I think I'm getting there. I've done a lot of reading in the last few weeks, and that confused me a bit because it's really only been an issue since 1974 anyway. But so much has been written about it, and so many people have jumped on the bandwagon about creating tests for health, for checking it, and it depends which area of health literacy you're really looking at. And so when I look at my article from the thesis, I'm coming back to the fact that it makes a difference in regional areas more than metropolitan areas. And it makes all the research into regional areas quite different from the research that we do in metropolitan areas.
Now that's a brilliant argument. That is that's a different rendering of health literacy in regional, rural, and remote environments. That's crucial, Sue. Wow.
I don't know how that will go, but that's what I'm looking at the moment.
Well, your short old mate, I'm very happy to have a look at it, and I can introduce you to some rather fabulous people that will love that, Sue. That is amazing.
Thank you.
Oh, you're the best. You're the best, Sue. And look, we'll go to Norfolk Island. I'm trying to get through the entire group, if I can, colleagues, as quickly as I can. But I want to talk to Megan. So, Megan, what were you writing? Big morning, girlfriend.
Yeah, big morning. And I started writing about public academics. And just writing about the difference between credentialing versus influence, and how the influencers, particularly the male influencers, have more credence than a female with very high credentials. So I'm just leading into an argument for using Brené's shame resilience theory, Piper. Just saying, come and have a chat with me.
Brilliant.
Uh,
Go, Megan. Go. Keep going.
Yeah, so just after a conversation that we had a couple of weeks ago, and then a conversation this morning, Tara, I'm just putting my thoughts down on paper so that I can go back and then reference them all.
Crucial. And Megan, if you can stand it, you might need to drink your own body weight in Chardonnay first. But if you go to Twitter or X or Threads or whatever Elon Musk happens to be calling it today, if you go to Jordan Peterson's daughter's thread, they've done a 2.5-hour interview where Jordan Peterson is talking directly about the state of the universities, and he is talking about intellectuals.
How very interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
And look, watch it carefully. I believe I lost 25 years of life watching it, but it is horrific. Like sort of watching a train wreck is horrific. So if you want the gendered rendering of that, he is overt on that about, you know, the overeducation of women and the consequences of women going to university and stuff, and why it should be stopped. So you might enjoy that very much.
Thank you. Yeah.
So it is a great reference for you, though, I think.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Thanks.
Unbelievable. You go, Megan. Okay. The man, the myth, the legend that the entire internet is just slightly fixated on. Come on, Damien. Come on, Damien.
So today I was working on my chapter about negotiating queer representation in writers' rooms in Australian television. And I had a very good conversation with one of my supervisors, and a bit of a realization that structurally I needed to talk about who gets in the room first. And so I'm sort of putting on the front of this chapter a bit of a, like, the formation of writers' rooms over the period I'm looking at, and how decisions are made, who influences it, the influence of policy in Australia as well, because our funding policy really affects who gets into a writer's room, and the influence of distribution networks and their expectations as well as audience expectations. So I'm sort of setting all of that up to then, the chapter is really focusing on content and negotiating what is written.
Wow.
But there needs to be, I needed some kind of setup, because it's all about the balance of craft and perspective.
Oh, wow.
So,
Kylie, I look straight at Kylie for that. How about that in policy decisions, starting with it, who's in the room first, Kyles?
Oh, I know. I went straight, oh, who gets in the room to be trained to do mice? Oh, that's great, Damien.
See, famous, unbelievable. I'm running out of time. But Damien, you're a legend. Can't manage without you. Keep doing that. I'm just inspired and enthralled. And who gets in the room first? I'm going to be using that all day. It's another T-shirt, Kylie. We're going to make a fortune off Damien. Queen Maeve, what were you writing on, my darling one? Talk to us.
I wrote a sort of first round introduction to the Sonics chapter.
Oh, brilliant. Brilliant. And how is, I was talking about you in that chapter, by the way, during digital office hours. So how's it going, Maeve?
Good. Well, I'm starting with your article, most recent 223. So yeah, and well, it's helpful. Why not start with what's already out there? That's what we need to do. So yeah, and then I thought I'll also contact Paul and check what he's had recently published as well. Yes. So and it was just sort of solid.
That's brilliant. And Paul's work on communities of practice with sound will also be useful, I think, Maeve. That's terrific.
Yeah.
That is terrific. I'll quickly go. I'm conscious of time. I will finish with beautiful Dina. I'm sorry I didn't get round to everybody. And can I just find out the beautiful L Roberts 4? L Roberts 4. What is L? What is L, darling?
I have tried to change this setting so many times and I've just given up. My name's Laurie Roberts, and I think it's my username at the university that comes up on Zoom.
Oh, well, Laurie, hello. It is
hello.
What a beautiful name. So welcome to Write Club. What were you writing on, darling one?
Oh, I'm at the beginning of my PhD journey, and I think I'm in a time of ignorant bliss, and so I'm just finding it all exciting. I'm writing about allied health service delivery in NDIS practice, particularly in the Northern Territory. It's a dog's breakfast. It's a good research topic because there's a lot to it. I work as a health professional as well, so I'm quite invested. And this morning was just quite a cathartic time of writing about the problem, and I'll put references to it so it's not the voice of my experience. And yeah, it was a nice little 15-minute state of flow. After that, I got out of the flow, to be honest.
Well, now, look, Laura Dallin, you build up into it. You build up into it. So you start 5, 10, 15, and then you end up like Kirsty and I sort of having to shake out of it like we're sort of like been locked in a room together. So welcome, my darling. We're thrilled. And look, I'm conscious of time. Bree's amazing, but we'll finish with Queen Dina. We'll always finish with Dina. I don't know what we'll do when Dina decides not to come anymore, because I think I'll be bereft. I won't manage. So Dina, okay, we're all with you, Dina. We're about to hit October, Dina. Come on, girlfriend. What were you writing on? Come on, sweetness.
So I'm still finalizing the methodology chapter.
Yeah.
I was supposed to finish it this week, but this week also my supervisor gave some more feedback to the result. So I was a bit split up, but now probably I could submit it in next week, I hope.
Good.
So so actually, Tara, when I started this writing club, I submitted all 3 chapters. So when did we first start it? July? So
about 3 months ago, I think.
Yeah, from nothing to submitting 3 chapters. So I think it's quite yeah, I'm very happy. And because I see a lot of your videos. I left the academic world for 15 whole years, so I regularly watch all your videos, and what you said about lengthening your writing, that you mentioned to put all the problems that we face, like in ethics, just put the challenges and how did you solve it. So I managed to take like 1,000 words from there. I didn't do it with my master, so it's a bit different because now I'm bearing like all the challenges, the problems that I face in my thesis. So yeah, I'm quite happy with it. Like for example, in the methodology chapter, there's a little bit section about ethics. And I quoted from Myers, who said that you have to address how to maintain privacy, reporting and analyzing data honestly, and making responsibility of the findings. Oh, and then what struck me is that it has some relation with my analysis result chapter, where I said that I was stuck in doing my theory construction.
Yes.
And then we discuss it, we review it with my supervisor and other people. And it also makes sense because it relates to reporting and analyzing data honestly,
Yes.
where I said that I could force the data into a theory construction, but I rather did not do it and find for other possible solutions to construct the data. So yeah, it makes now there's the red lining for Asian. We say it's not a silver lining, but the red thread that goes from the introduction to the to all the way to the result. So I'm also a bit awe of what I have been accomplishing. So thank you for that.
Well, how much do we all love Dina? Dina is our whole universe. Kylie gets upset. I look at Kylie, I start getting upset. Dina, we are so proud of you. And 3 chapters in 3 months, my darling. You are the best of us, and you always will be. So beautiful, Theresia, beautiful Edith. We hope to see you next week, colleagues. I'm excited. So I'm about to get into a cab and I'm about to get to Darwin Airport. So I'll be, if those of you that are sending me emails as Dean, I'll be sort of handling emails at airports. But yes, I'm about to go to Sydney, to go to CDU Sydney next week, which I'm terribly excited about. And of course, I get to see a certain Professor Jamie Quinton this evening, which I'm incredibly thrilled about. So colleagues, thank you for your time, and see you on the other side. See you in Sitters next week. Much love, everybody. Bye-bye.
Have a great week.
Thank you, my darlings. Bye-bye. You're the best, Dina. Fantastic.